All right, it's time for them to grid and go racing. Here we go. Up front will be Giancarlo and Avery Walker. On the second row, Adam Barker and Harry. Third row is Simon Zierk and Jason Wahlberg.
Make sure everyone's got full fuel. Make sure you got the full fuel.
My apologies, I forgot to turn off the in-sim sound. There we go, now we have it off. Alright, up front will be Giancarlo and Avery. Second row, Adam and Harry. Third row is Simon and Jason Wahlberg. Mike Marshall and McMullet McCready on the fourth row. Martin Johnson and James Crook rounding out the top 10. Then it's Michael Dalling and Ronnie in 11th and 12th. 13th is Chris Perry. 14th is Matt. Blake is 15th. Charles 16th. Matthew Allen is 17th. And Seba Corns is 18th. And as they grid for their pace laps here. Pace car rolling off. They'll have just about a quarter of a lap and pacing to grid up, and then they're going to go green. See if we see anybody riding the brakes or weaving to try and warm those tires up just a little bit, get a little bit of grip. Don't expect to see a lot of tire changes when they go for their pits. They just have to stop for fuel when the time comes. Pace car is diving off. And here they come down to the line. Green flag in the air. They are down and away. And Giancano gets a good jump on the field through turn 1 and 2. Big right-hander into the first short straightaway. Adam gets a little wide through turn 3. Harry slipping by to the inside. Now they've got the little bit of a short shoot down into the first chicane. And have to already just a few turns in. Seba already picking up spots, but it looks like Simon has been involved in an incident. A little bit of bumping there with Adam. Seba goes around. Everybody manages to avoid it, and we talked about how the first lap might get a little bit tricky out there. Looks like Simon Zierk went off track as well. Looks like that was him correcting his car, trying to get it around. Had to wait for everybody to get by. Definitely losing a lot of ground there after starting towards the front. And another incident. Chris Perry and Blake McCary. Here we go. Go down into that hard right-hand turn chicane. They are side by side, and he just gets the nose in, and then the Ford gets into him as well. So a several car collision, several cars off track. And we knew this section of track would be the trickiest part and the horseshoe, so definitely seeing a lot of that play out already. Matthew Allen currently running in 14th. He is up 3 spots, looking to see who's gained the most ground. It's Seba in the Mercedes so far. He is already up 7 spots to 11th. Going through that I believe it's the 3rd chicane that they are at, and down another long straightaway. This track is very tricky from the high speeds down into some very tight chicanes, tight corners. And what a great view as all the cars come by. Back up front, Giancarlo still maintaining the lead. Second place is Harry right now. Third place is Adam Barker, not far behind. Avery Walker in fourth. McMullet McCready up to fifth in the Audi. So the Audis are currently fourth and fifth. You got a Lambo in first, a Lambo in third, and second place is the first Porsche out there. As they come down to the start-finish line, you see in the background how close they're getting to that wall, going for everything they can here. Jason Wahlberg in sixth, Mike Marshall in seventh, Mike Doling in eighth, James Cook in ninth, and Seba now taking 10th from Ronnie. That Lambo just so planted through those tighter sections. Actually, throughout practice, I only saw one Lambo spin on its own, and that he got too deep in the rumble strips, pushing for everything he had. Harry, though, in that Porsche, did say that these guys did say that Porsche is the fastest, but it is the hardest to be consistent with. Lambo in third, Audi in fourth, Audi in fifth, and the top five not that far apart for a road course. 10 seconds, currently 8.7 seconds from the leader back to fifth. Seba in the Mercedes, though, that car may have the most power of any car on track. It is not the most nimble through the tight sections, but it's making up a ton of ground on those big straightaways as here he comes past the cameras and currently up to ninth. And Simon, who we saw have problems early on, trying to make up some ground. He went all the way back to 18th. He is now back in 16th, trying to make up anything he can at this point. A lot of single file everywhere on the track. As Seba is now starting to run down Jason. He is closing that gap up a little bit as well. Back behind him, Ronnie and James Cook are battling as well. Oh, James Cook goes off the track, has to slow down. He'll have a slowdown penalty and lose some ground. Charles Weber slips by. Chris Perry also going by as James is dealing with the slowdown penalty. Let's see if James, it looks like he is back up to full speed. He has served his penalty completely now, but lost several positions in the interim. Ronnie in the Ferrari, staying right with that Mercedes. Meanwhile, Seba in that Mercedes, the gap from him to 8th place is 3 seconds. We'll have to check it again at the line, but he is definitely flying through this field. Looking through the field right now, Lamborghini, Porsche, Lamborghini, Audi, Lambo. The first Ferrari currently in 7th, that is Mike Doling. And it looks like Matthew Allen had an incident. Let's go take a look. And just so little grip there as you're coming back out, as you're coming back on that long straightaway. He loses some ground. And it looks like James Cook went off track again. And in the same place, he missed that turn again, so he's going to lose even more ground here. Meanwhile, up front, Giancarlo has opened up a 3.5 second lead in that Lambo. Seba still marching his way forward in 9th, and Ronnie staying right with him. I have to think Ronnie is taking advantage of that Mercedes draft, as he knows that car is much more powerful, especially on the straightaways. The Ferrari gets through the turns so much better, as you're seeing there. But down those straightaways, he can use that Mercedes to help him pick up a little bit of ground. But Seba lost a little bit of ground on that last lap. He's now 5.2 seconds back, so he's losing a little bit of ground right now. And it looks like Ronnie might actually be looking for a pass here. Still so amazed by how well Ronnie drives using a quad stick. Up front, Giancarlo continuing to open up his lead, now 4.1 seconds, but a little bit of a change as over the last half of a lap, Harry has started to gain some ground. He gains a little bit of ground, especially coming up off the corners. We mentioned the Porsche is the fastest, but hardest to be the most consistent with. Adam Barker in 3rd, staying fairly even with Harry. Avery in 4th, about even as well with the leader. McCready in 5th, losing a little bit of ground now. And about to come into the clutches, we're about to have a 4-car battle here as McCready, Marshall, Doling, and Wahlberg are nose to tail on track. Easy, boys, don't run over the camera. Looks like Mike Doling is perched and ready to strike. He's just waiting as they go through the horseshoe. Expected to see a lot more chaos here as some guys try and break really, really late into this corner, but have not seen any problems here. It's been elsewhere on the track that we've seen those problems. Worth mentioning again, too, any mistake here could be fatal because there are no runoffs. You see how tight the sides of the track are. Not the tightest track on the circuit, but definitely one of the ones that's a little bit trickier, as it looks like Marshall got into the wall. Doling shoots to the inside. And now it's going to be Doling into 6th, trying to run down McCready in 5th. Perfectly timed opportunity for Doling as Marshall just tagged a little bit of the wall coming out of the final chicane. And there is a new GT3 car coming in the next season, so things could get very interesting if they use the current Ferrari GT3 or the new one that is coming, as now Jason starts looking to the inside of Marshall. And as mentioned in the chat, Mike Doling and McCready 1 point apart in the points. McCready in 5th, Doling in 6th. This could get very, very interesting if they get close. And Doling is closing that gap down extremely quickly. Meanwhile, Jason Wahlberg kept looking to the inside. He's lost a little bit of ground here. He was actually looking to the inside of Marshall a moment ago. And we mentioned that Seba had lost some ground to this group. He is in 9th place. He was over 5 seconds behind. He's now closed that gap down to just over 3. Oh! And he spins coming through the final chicane. Manages to get clear, and everybody's going to get by clean, but that is a heartbreak for a guy who was charging through the field. He's now going to have to do it all over again. Seba slipping back to 14th place now. That moves Ronnie back up into 9th. A long way to go in the race, but that hurts tremendously bad. That puts Seba back in 14th. He is now 1.2 seconds behind Blake McCary and 2 seconds behind Simon Zarek. We'll see if he can fight his way back through the field. Looked like he just got on the power a little too soon. He easily pulls away from Matt and starts making his way forward. Matt closing up the gap through the turns, but as soon as they get to the straightaway, Seba just gets gone. Meanwhile, up front, Giancarlo has opened his lead up further. Now 6 seconds over Harry. But Adam is actually closing down on Harry now. 1.8 seconds is the gap. Adam said he has to win today to win the title, and even if he does, it'll still be close. He may not be able to win the title with the drop races even if he wins today. He is definitely sending that car as hard as he can. And actually, he has the second fastest lap of the race thus far. Fourth place is Avery Walker, who is 1.7 seconds back from that battle. McCready now has to look in his mirror as here comes Doling. And this is the battle for 5th in points as they come around the track. You can see McCready moving over, trying to break that draft. He does not want Doling to have any opportunity to use him to help get around here. Through the horseshoe, and Doling in the Ferrari seemed to close a little bit of the gap on McCready, but loses a little bit up off the turn, as it appears the Audi is faster off the turn, but the Ferrari is definitely faster down into the turn. Seems to just outbrake him into turns easily. Closing the gap, but the Audi can get back on the power a little bit sooner. And oh my goodness, Doling was right out by the wall that time. As they cross the start-finish line to begin the next lap, he is still right there. Half of a second is the gap. And don't forget, right behind him, Mike Marshall and Jason Wahlberg are still battling as well. That is for 7th and 8th place, and they are still within reach of these two. Now the gap is really closed as here comes Doling. And the Ferrari looking a little twitchy. He was ready to go right there, but the Audi getting up off the turn a lot quicker. Giancarlo still way out front. 6-second lead. That lead has stabilized. He is not gaining any ground on Harry right now. But Adam is gaining ground on Harry. It's, he lost a little bit on that last lap. It's now 2 seconds. But he has been steadily closing that gap until the last lap. I'd expect to see him continue to close that gap back up. McCready pulling away again from Doling. Into the tighter section of the track, though. That's when Doling closes the gap. Through this first tight section, and Doling right back to the back bumper of McCready, but McCready just gets the power down so much better. Going into the next chicane, though, and they are still closing on Walker. And it looks like Walker had some sort of problem there. He is going backwards. Just lost 2 positions. No, I'm sorry, that was not Walker. My mistake. That was Matthew Allen. He was moving over for the leaders. He has had a few problems. Been off track a few times and starting to lose a little bit of ground as the leaders are starting to come into lap traffic from the guys that had issues earlier on in the race. And here comes Doling looking around McCready through the horseshoe. Still nothing yet, but Jason Wahlberg has finally got around Mike Marshall and picked up a position. Quick check on Seba as he's been trying to recover. He has not gained any positions yet, still in 14th. And it looks like something might be wrong with the car as the back end is really starting to slide around. In fact, as they come around, come through the final chicane, we'll take a lap with Seba. And here he is right behind the Ford GT of Blake McCary, crossing the start-finish line into the first turn. Back to the left, and then a long right-hander, almost into the back bumper of the Ford GT. So close there, getting down, headed towards that first chicane. Gets right to the back bumper of that Ford GT, just cannot find a way around it yet. Now looking to the inside through the second chicane. And back up to speed. The Ford GT definitely has a little bit on him in maneuverability, but you see the power difference when they get on those straightaways. And he gets on the power and slides by as one car goes off to the left. And now he's going to dive into the horseshoe on the outside. Manages to clear him on the way in, gets through the horseshoe and picks up a position. Seba now trying to pick up as much as he can. He's now up to 12th as he gets by both Weber and McCary on that lap and almost in the same section. Coming down that long straightaway, you see how much speed that Mercedes has as he gets off into that final chicane. Here's where he had the problem earlier. Manages to keep the grip, and that was a lap for Seba in 1:37.15. That was his fastest lap of the race. And now he's got the lap car. Matthew Allen, he is getting by him cleanly. Giancarlo has continued to, or he started rather, opening his lead back up just a little bit. Now 7.5 seconds over Harry. And Adam Barker has continued to close that gap down on Harry. Just over 1 second right now. We'll see if he can get up there and do anything with him, as Matthew Allen had another incident. Matthew Allen definitely having a rough day today. Gets loose coming through that chicane and ends up backed up into the wall. And a bit of a hard race here for Allen. Now back to this battle for 5th place. This is not only 5th on track, this is 5th in the points. This is the final race of the season, and these two are 1 point apart coming into today. McCready in front in the Audi. Behind him in 6th, that is Dolling in the Ferrari. Jason Wahlberg not far behind either. Mike Marshall also not far behind him. Avery Walker now 11 seconds ahead in 4th. And McCready's starting to pour on some speed. As you see there, he was leaning that car extremely hard through the turns. He is actually opening up a little bit of a gap over Dolling. Back up for the battle for second place. This has been going on for some time, and there you see it, that Lambo right to the back bumper of the Porsche. Blake McCary crashed. Let's see what happened to him. He had been having a good run so far and just gets too hot through that section, puts the Ford GT into the wall, gets towed to pit road. All right, back up with 3rd place, Adam Barker, and 2nd place, Harry. They are still staying right there within just over half a second, actually. They vary from about half a second to 3/4 of a second, but Adam Barker not letting him get anywhere. Through that first chicane, that Porsche is so much faster. But you can see the car getting squirrely. As they go further into this run, that tire wear will definitely become an issue. Those back tires will get slick and they will start sliding more and more. As it looks like Adam Barker's starting to get a little bit of a run here. He is using that slipstream to his advantage. He closes that gap so much. Oh, they did not touch. Adam Barker was so close to that back bumper, though. Adam Barker had one heck of a run down into the horseshoe, and that was a close one. Now back into the chicane. Can he close that gap back up? He had to give up a little bit of momentum to not wreck the 2nd place car. And if you're in that Porsche, you're a little bit worried right now when you see how fast that Lamborghini is coming. And don't forget, Avery Walker right back there in 4th, he is still lurking and trying to close up on them. 34 minutes left in the race, and we should start seeing green flag pit stops here in just a moment. Good morning, Striker. Back to the ongoing battle with McCready and Dolling, as Dolling dives it into the chicane extremely hard. McCready gets up off that chicane so much better. But look at the speed that Ferrari is carrying as they go around here. That Ferrari definitely has the agility advantage through the turns. Fourth place, Walker has opened up the gap to McCready. Now he has got over, or right at 13 seconds is the gap from 4th to 5th right now. As McCready cannot seem to break away from Dolling. And Dolling gets a lot of run that time. That final chicane seems to be where he has the biggest advantage. but the straightaway after it gives McCready a bit of an advantage as well. But you see how much the Ferrari just closes right up, just does not have the same power as he gets back onto the straightaway. Now, how much longer does Dowling wait before he just dives a corner here and takes the position? Oh, it looks like Matt crashed a moment ago. Not sure what happened there. He just kind of pulls off to the left and stops. Let's see if we can get a slightly earlier. I think he might have been going to pit road and missed it. I'm not sure if he was. He shouldn't have been low on fuel. We'll have to wait and see, but wow. Dowling right to the back bumper of McCready. Back up with Harry and Adam, as Harry's opened up about a 1 second gap on him right now, and Avery Walker within a 1.5 seconds of these two. And up front, Giancarlo just flying away from the field. He is now 11.1 seconds ahead. Looking at the fastest lap time for these guys, there are their fastest lap times. As it cycles through, you'll see his fastest lap time was almost 0.8 of a second, or 0.7 of a second, excuse me, faster than the next fastest lap, which was done by Adam Barker. So the two Lambos laying down the fastest laps so far. And now we're starting to see green flag pit stops underway. Looks like Jason Wahlberg, Chris Perry, James Cook all come to pit road. Now pit strategy comes into play as we watch and see, and Giancarlo is going to stay out. These guys, some of them will try and stretch that fuel to the limit. Almost everybody will just get fuel only on this stop. Chris Perry and Jason Wahlberg both off of pit road. James Cook now coming off of pit road. And the battle for second place could come down to pit road as well. These close battles between Harry and Adam, and then the battle between Mike Dowling and McCready. Those two battles could come down to pit stops as well. Some of these guys are going to stretch as far as they can to take as little fuel as possible and try and make up ground on pit road. Barker still hounding Harry. Does not look like he's going to push him too terribly hard right now. He might be playing the strategy game, waiting for a pit stop here. Dowling and McCready still nose to tail as well. Seba looks like he has retired from the race after that incident. He was starting to make up a little bit of ground. I don't know what happened, but he is not on track or on pit road. Also worth mentioning as pit stops are underway that Ronnie is now up into 8th place. He's got Simon right there on the back bumper. Simon had issues early on, but has made his way up to 9th. And Avery Walker now to pit road. He was the first car in the top 5 to come to pit road. That moves Dowling and McCready up to 4th and 5th. Now Ronnie's on pit road. Simon is on pit road. Now the question becomes, how much longer does our leader stay out? And I would imagine when we see Giancarlo come to pit road, either the same lap or the very next lap, Harry and Adam will both come as well. Remember, they have a limited fuel load here, so they do have to pit. But who stretches that fuel mileage the furthest? And of course, it's always a balancing act as well. If you push that fuel mileage too far, you could end up running out. And here they come. You've got Harry and Adam on pit road this time. Giancarlo stays out. So second and third are going to come to pit road. Now, what about fourth and fifth? Mike Dalling and McCready, will they come to pit road? They're headed toward pit road entrance. How much longer do they go? And it looks like Dalling is going to come to pit road and McCready stays out. This could be what decides these battles right here, as McCready now up into second. He stays out as the other of the top fives go to pit road. Mike Marshall also staying out. He has not been to pit road. Everybody else has been to pit road except the current top three. Giancarlo, McCready, and Marshall have not been to pit road. Harry and Adam both coming off pit road right now, and they are still nose to tail. Avery Walker there as well. He completed his pit stop just a couple of laps ago. So now the top three have to see how far. The leader's coming to pit road this time. Now does McCready stay out even further? And Mike Marshall is the only other car. McCready and Marshall are the only two cars that have not been to pit road. I was just double checking that. Those are the only two cars that have not been. So do we see them try and stretch even further so they can take a quicker pit stop? No, McCready's coming to pit road. And it looks like Marshall will come to pit road. He will indeed. So now Harry and Adam, who came in second and third place, can they get around in time as they come down to pit road towards the entrance to pit road? It looks like Giancarlo is coming off the exit. So Giancarlo will maintain the lead for right now. Harry and Adam still second and third. Mike Marshall and McCready still on pit road. Now the question is, does McCready get off in front of Mike Dalling? As here comes Mike Dalling toward the start-finish line. McCready, you see him on the left. He is rolling off pit road. It's going to be close. McCready coming up to speed. It looks like as he clears the commitment cone, he maintains position. In that exchange, Avery Walker manages to get fourth, McCready in fifth, and Dalling in sixth. So not a huge change in position for anybody as of yet due to pit stops. And Giancarlo now has a 13-second lead over second place Harry. Adam is in third. Avery in fourth. McCready in fifth. Mike Dalling in sixth. Mike Marshall in seventh. Jason Wahlberg eighth. Ronnie is in ninth. And Simon in 10th. Then it's Chris Perry in 11th. James Cook in 12th. Charles Weber in 13th. And 14th is Matt. Matthew Allen still out on track. He is 2 laps down, but staying out there trying to pick up any positions he can. McCready and Dalling continue this nose-to-tail battle throughout the track. Even after pit stops, it is still 3/4 of a second difference between them. Dalling gains so much ground on corner entry, but McCready getting up off the corner so much faster. And the battle between Adam Barker and Harry continues. We've seen Adam get really, really close to the back bumper, almost touching the back bumper of the Porsche. Has not hit it yet, but as time goes on and this race gets closer and closer to the end, how much more aggressive will they be as the Lambo gets through the center of the corner better, but that Porsche getting off the corner so much quicker. Avery Walker currently running in 4th. And Dalling looks to the inside, coming through the horseshoe. Can't do anything yet, but now he's starting to show he wants that position. Currently 5th and 6th on track. Currently 5th and 6th in the points. Where does Dalling make the move at? He closes way up to the back bumper through the final chicane. Down to the start-finish line, he is right there with him. Will he be able to pull something off through this first section? That Ferrari cornering so much flatter, so much smoother, but just does not have the power up off the turn. The lone BMW, that is Simon, currently running in 9th. Ronnie gets past Ronnie back to 10th. And we saw the BMW and Porsche dominance last week, but this week, definitely a different story. As a Lambo is in 1st, a Porsche in 2nd, Lamborghini in 3rd. Audi in 4th and 5th. Ferrari, the first Ferrari on track, is currently running in 6th place. That is Mike Dalling. Mike Marshall currently in 7th in a Porsche. 8th is the Lamborghini of Jason Wahlberg. 9th is the BMW of Simon. And 10th is the Ferrari of Ronnie. Interesting note to this, only a few of these drivers are in the same cars that they were in last week. Ronnie and Simon both still in the same cars they ran last week, but a lot of guys in different cars this week trying to get any advantage they can as it comes into the final race of the season. Less than 20 minutes to go, and these guys have definitely turned up the wick, starting to see some faster lap times out of everybody as they push the cars to the limit, trying to hold position or not, or trying to pick up a position. And how long before one of these guys that is pushing, oh, there it is! Harry just lost it through the chicane, goes off track, and Adam goes to 2nd. Coming down into the right-hand chicane, and looked like he just got on the brakes as he hit the rumble strips. And loses a ton of ground, and what a heartbreak, as he had been so fast all day. Now he is 3.7 seconds back behind Adam. He is currently running in 3rd. Now it is a Lambo in 1st and a Lambo in 2nd. And McCready now just has to make sure he does not make a mistake. They are still within 3/4 of a second. That has been the consistent gap between McCready and Dalling this whole time. How long before Dalling just makes that move? Mike Marshall has lost a bit of ground, now 7 seconds back, and Jason Wahlberg And Simon, we might see a three-car battle before this thing is all said and done, as 9th place Simon, 8th place Jason Wahlberg, and 7th place Mike Marshall, all within 3 seconds of each other. And Simon right on the back bumper of Jason Wahlberg here. The lone BMW in the field. And I think I just saw a little bit of a wiggle out of Jason Wahlberg's Lamborghini as he came out of the chicane. Have to watch it closely to see if it happens again, but he was definitely got on the power a little bit much and saw a little bit of tail wiggle on it. Through the horseshoe, and Simon looking to the inside. Can't quite get there yet as the Lambo had the advantage with more space to run off, but Simon's starting to look for that position here. Down into this final chicane, and we will see if that Lambo is starting to have problems on power. No, he remains pretty well planted there. Up front, Giancarlo's Lamborghini, a little wiggle on that on corner exit that time. Adam Barker now securely in second, 4.3 second lead over Harry in third place. Avery now, though, is closing in on Harry, 3.8 seconds back. McCready and Dalling still right there, 1.6 seconds, though, as McCready has opened up a little bit of a lead over Dalling. Mike Marshall currently running in 7th. Jason Wahlberg in 8th. Simon in 9th. And Ronnie in 10th. And Mike Dalling is now losing ground to McCready. Almost 2 seconds back. Adam Barker, meanwhile, is continuing to open up his lead over Harry. That is the second place battle, but that battle may be over. Just over 13 minutes left to go, and Adam has a 4.3 second lead over Harry. Fourth place, Avery Walker, now gaining on Harry, just 3 second gap. McCready in 5th, continuing to open up the gap on Mike Rawlings, and this is the battle for 5th in points as well as 5th on track. Mike Marshall in 7th, Jason Wahlberg in 8th, Simon Zierk in 9th, and Ronnie in 10th. And as we mentioned earlier in the race, don't forget to check Ronnie's channel out on Twitch. It is quad racing, and trust me, you'll be impressed when you see how he does that. Giancarlo continuing to storm away from the field. He now has a 16-second lead over Adam Barker. And we're going to try something completely new here. We're going to take a ride with our leader and keep an eye on the speeds. And there you see in the bottom right-hand corner the speeds they are getting as they come through the horseshoe. And he cuts to the inside and will come around and do a complete lap once he picks up the start-finish line. You see him coming up through the gears and the speed he's picking up down these long straightaways. Gets on the brakes between 3 and 2. Gets up to over 160 miles an hour. And here he comes to the start-finish line. Through the first tight section, you see he gets 130 miles an hour just on that little straightaway. Manages to maintain over 45 miles an hour through the first section and then down into the first chicane. Careful not to cut the track too much there, and here he goes, getting back up to speed. Slows down for the next chicane. Still maintaining over 65 miles an hour, carrying so much momentum. Pushing that car all the way out to the wall, getting everything he can out of it, now down towards the horseshoe. And now onto the longest straightaway. We'll see how much speed he gets going down this straightaway. Might even get a little bit of slipstream off the lap car ahead. Closing in on 161 miles an hour is his top speed down the long straight. Nine and a half minutes left. Simon Zierk finally got past Jason Wahlberg. Let's take a look at that pass. We knew he had been lurking behind the Lambo, the lone BMW, diving into the horseshoe, gets that bottom line and just gets the runoff and finally takes the position. So Simon now trying to run down Mike Marshall, who is Simon in 8th, Mike Marshall in 7th. Simon 1.3 seconds back from Marshall. We knew that this might come into play here tonight. Adam Barker in 2nd place has continued to extend his lead over Harry by 5 seconds now, but has nothing for Giancarlo here, as Giancarlo now has a 17-second lead over the rest of the field and is picking up lap traffic as he goes. As there is 12th place James Crook, who is being about in position to be lapped here. So it is Lamborghinis 1 and 2, Porsche in 3rd. Then the Audis are 4th and 5th. 6th place is a Ferrari. 7th place is another Porsche. 8th place is the lone BMW. Then another Lambo in 9th, a Ferrari in 10th, a Porsche in 11th, a Lamborghini in 12th. 13th is a Ferrari, and 14th is another Porsche. 15th is another Ferrari. The lone Mercedes and the lone Ford both out of the race. Simon, who had problems early on in the race, went way to the back, is now right to the back bumper of Mike Marshall, trying to gain as many positions as he can here late in the race. He swings wide on entry to get the inside line on exit, And he's got it. He's going to the inside of the Porsche. They'll go into the chicane side by side. No, he backs out of it. Simon backing out of it as they go through the first chicane. Now what's he going to do here? It looked like he has been setting up by swinging wide on corner entry to get the low line on exit a couple of times. We'll see if he pulls that move off coming down into the next section. And no, he's going to swing out and try and get that inside line into the horseshoe. Outbrakes him into the horseshoe. No. Oh, a little bobble under braking. And he gets the momentum. Looked like Simon almost lost it. Now it's going to be a drag race down to the next chicane. And so far the BMW gets out ahead. But will the Porsche of Mike Marshall outbrake him now? Now the Porsche back to the outside, using the slipstream as an advantage. And no, the BMW gets away. 5 minutes left to go. Simon is now back up into 7th place and pulling away. But Mike Doling is now 10 seconds ahead and does not look like he will be able to catch him. But here is an interesting development. Just a couple of laps ago, Mike Doling was 4.5 seconds back from McCready. McCready now losing time as you see Doling coming in back a shot there. It is now 2.2 seconds. Doling has cut that lead in half. And he is still closing. Currently, Giancarlo way out front, 17 and a half seconds now. Second place is Adam Barker. He has 5 seconds over Harry. But now Harry is about to have his hands full of an Audi being driven by Avery Walker, as here comes Avery. He is now just 1.1 second back. So late in the race, after everybody had spread out mid-race, several battles starting to take shape. Mike Doling starting to gain a little ground on McCready, 2 seconds back. Avery Walker just over 1 second back from third place Harry. And Simon, who we saw get past Mike Marshall on that last lap and started to pull away, guess what? Marshall is not done with Simon yet. All right, back to the battle for third. As Harry still has about a 1 second lead over Avery. As they come through the horseshoe, let's see if that changes. No, Avery gains ground off the horseshoe. Gains 1/10 of a second, and now he's within the slipstream. He's going to start gaining on him quickly. Can he get to him? Can he pass him with 3 minutes left to go? He is definitely sending it. Almost clips that barrier coming off the final turn. Avery Walker has closed that gap down to 0.6 of a second. Meanwhile, in the battle for fifth, McCready has opened up a little bit more of a gap. It's now 2.5 seconds over Mike Doling. Mike Doling has just a couple of laps left to get back up there. If they finish in their current positions, that will also be their points positions, with McCready coming home in fifth and fifth for the season, Doling sixth and sixth for the season. Adam Barker currently running in second. With Yuho not here today, he needed to win to be able to even have a chance at the points once they factor in drop races. It may not happen. Yuho might have pulled this championship off without even being here today. Avery Walker still lurking behind Harry. Let's see where Giancarlo is. He will be the determining. We'll have at least one more lap. No white flag lap yet. Walker and Harry have at least one more lap to settle this. McCready has opened up a little bit more of a gap now over Mike Dowling. And back behind him, Simon has now opened up a 2-second lead over Mike Marshall. You saw after Simon made the pass, Marshall kept fighting back, but Simon has just managed to step away from him. Oh, a wiggle out of Harry. And now Avery Walker slips by into third. Let's see what happened. Harry just gets on the power coming off the turn, and the back end completely stepped out on him. Great save by Harry. That was an amazing recovery, but still losing third place. And will they be battling down to the line, or can Avery pull away? It's currently 9/10 of a second. And I do believe Giancarlo just got the white flag. Adam Barker currently in second. Avery Walker in third. Harry is in fourth. McCready in fifth. Mike Dowling in sixth is starting to close down. It's less than 2 seconds, but he's only got this lap to get it done. Simon back in seventh. Great recovery out of the lone BMW here today. Mike Marshall currently running in ninth. Jason Wahlberg in 10th. Mike Marshall in 8th. Jason Wahlberg in 9th as they continue to battle. And Ronnie in 10th. Avery has managed to pull away from Harry now. 3.2 seconds. McCready, though, 1.4 seconds as Giancarlo is going to come down and take the checkered flag and winning the final race of the series here in Quebec. Second place is going to come down. It's going to be Adam Barker. Third place, here comes Avery Walker. Harry is going to manage to hold on to fourth, and now McCready is going to come around and take fifth place. Unless Mike Dowling has some trick left up his sleeve, but huge shout out to Dowling for that recovery late in the race. And McCready does come home in fifth. Dowling comes home in sixth. Simon coming home in seventh after that early race incident and going all the way to the back of the field. So great save, great recovery. Mike Marshall coming home in 8th with Jason Wahlberg in 9th right on his back bumper, and Ronnie coming home in 10th. 11th was Chris Perry, James Crook in 12th, Charles Weber 13th, Matt was 14th, 15th was Matthew Allen. Seba, after his earlier incident, comes home in 16th, Blake McCary 17th. All right, let's see if we can get a hold of our winner. It looks like we can. As he continues to pace around and going to celebrate the win. Hey, Giancarlo, this is Doug in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yeah.
Hey, man, congratulations on a dominant win.
Oh, thank you very much. It was a lot of fun.
You were definitely walking away, and, you know, I mentioned it a couple of times, but those Lamborghinis just seem to have what it took here today.
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started racing this track, I did it in the Porsche, and it was way too much, way too sketchy. I felt like I was going to die all the time, and the Lambo hit my sweet spot. Yeah, but it was hope to keep doing this. This was a lot of fun. Very good guys, great conversation happening in the background. Really enjoyed the whole thing.
Well, congratulations, man. That was a heck of a win. 17 seconds was the interval to second. And at no point during the race, even when you were lapping cars, was anybody even close to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I got kind of lucky because this track was on IMSA last week and then VRS this week. So a bit of practice has been going on beforehand. But I appreciate the kind words.
All right, man. Congratulations. Go celebrate it, buddy.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, that was our winner, Giancarlo. Adam Barker coming home second. Let's see if we can get a word with him. Hey, Adam, this is Doug. You got me?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, good. Congratulations on a hard-fought second place.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it's it was a tough race.
It definitely looked like it in that first half of the race. It did look like things were getting a little sketchy out there.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't have the best start, and I didn't fancy taking it too wide round most of the start. So I got Harry got ahead of me, and then Simon got ahead of me as well. And I think we net coded in the first set quarters, which is a shame. But yeah, Harry was quick, and that Porsche, you cannot pass it in a straight line.
No, you definitely could not. It seems to just it's way more nimble to the point of being sketchy, but once it gets in a straight line and gets up to speed, it's hard to catch.
It's insane. Yeah, I took a click of a wing off as well this week to the normal settings that I run. So I expected to be able to catch people in a straight line.
Well, regardless, a second place finish does not. I'm not sure about locking up the championship. Yuho might have got you on this one, but still one heck of a season.
Yeah, really good fun. We do it for the fun. If we win, that's a bonus. But
well, congratulations, man! Heck of a race.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, that was our second place finisher, Adam Barker. Congratulations to everybody. And, of course, the end of the season today. But make sure you are following us on Facebook because you will soon find the schedule. As soon as they send it to me, I'll have it posted. And we'll be broadcasting all the upcoming seasons. So that's going to be something I'm really looking forward to. And great group of guys. Great season, and looks like it's going to be congratulations to Yuho despite not being here. Be safe as he is out on military exercises. Be safe, Yuho. Congratulations, man. You are the champ. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to come back tonight, 7:30 Eastern, for the Outlaw Truck Series. It's going to be a very special night for one of the drivers, so definitely want to tune in for that. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find all those links on the website, htsai.net. And this race video, will be on YouTube later today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did.